We're going to give everybody just a minute more before we get started for a few more people to join in. They're slowly adding in here, and I appreciate you guys' patience. This is Hank over at Dynaweb, and we're excited today to have our special guest. So if you'll wait just about 2 more minutes, we'll get started, just to make sure everyone is joining in. A few people called us and emailed us and asked us what the contact information was to get on. So we'll let those individuals join in, and then we'll get started. Thanks for your patience. We'll start in just a couple of minutes. All right. Well, thanks everyone for joining us today. The Dynaweb. It's a monthly news and information webinar brought to you by Dynaweb, and we like to have each month one of our special guests on. Today we're going to be having M2M, machine to machine, one of the fastest growing third-party platform technology services. It's going to be an exciting time. You guys will be able to hear more in just a few minutes. But before we do that, I'd like to go ahead and share with you guys some of the exciting things that are happening over here at Dynaweb. Most of you don't know about us, a little background. Dynaweb has been around since 1975. We are ranked as one of the top 10 central stations in America. We are primarily a 5-diamond UL listed FM approved IQ certified central station that provides wholesale monitoring to our dealers. What we have heard in the news recently, and most of you probably have heard this, is that many of the banking institutions have decided to back out providing funding to the alarm industry for reasons that are too many to describe today. However, the good news is that in lieu of going to get banking money to build your business or selling your alarm accounts to a funding program, we here at Dynaweb have partnered with what I believe to be the most, one of the strongest consumer financing solutions in America. Most of you probably, if you opened up your wallet or purse, you would see that you have one of their cards in your wallet. And today we want to announce, if you haven't already heard, that we have partnered with a company recently known as Synchrony Bank. David, if you could let me share my screen, I'm going to go ahead and show something real quick. And it's going to let these guys see a little bit about Synchrony Bank. So has anybody ever heard of Synchrony Bank? You probably have, you just didn't realize it. There's their logo at the top here, and you'll notice that Synchrony Bank is probably a card in your wallet somewhere with names that they have partnered, such as Amazon, Walmart, Google, TJ Maxx, Marshalls, Home Goods. These are companies you know and use probably every week. We, about a year ago, went out with an intention that we were going to find the best partner for consumer financing. And recently, about 5 months ago, we secured this partnership. We believe that it's probably going to be the strongest thing you could do in your industry. If you are sort of sick and tired of not being able to compete against the big brands, well, today you're going to have that opportunity. A little background on this program. We rolled it out around November last year, got through the coronavirus issues, resolved a couple tweaks that we needed to tweak. And as of June 1st, we've now rolled this out publicly to any dealer, provided that they will use this program on a consistent basis and generate about 5 contracts or deals a month with Synchrony. Here's what's great about this, couple highlights. One, once again, you're now finally, for many of you alarm dealers, going to be able to offer something you maybe never could. Instead of selling someone a system for $800, $1,000, $2,000, what if you could offer a customer a system for 0 interest, equal payments? You know, not a huge investment down. I believe that the initial down payment is $49 just to activate, and then it is literally monthly payment. What's beautiful about that is it is 0 interest. Whatever the amount is going to be what the customer will pay over a term. They do offer multiple terms, 25, 36, 48, and 60 months. The great part is the homeowner will have the opportunity to pay for the system with a reasonable monthly payment. And after the payment plan is completed, the homeowner is the owner of the system. And the best part of this is that after the system is paid off, the customer only has to pay for the monitoring. You will not be able to bundle the monitoring into the system. But let me give you an example. Let's say you went to a home and sold a system with 6 door contacts or window contacts, motion sensor, doorbell camera, maybe an interior camera, a couple more items, and it was about $1,800 system. Call it $1,842. That $1,842 system will be, and let me round that out to $1,800 to make it easy. $1,800 divided by 60 months is a $30 a month payment. That's simple as that. Now, who pays for the bank to allow this to happen? The dealer does. You would be paying out of your money. It comes out a merchant fee between 9.5% and 18.6%. But you will be able to receive that net check. So in that case, about $1,800 is about $1,500 net check. About the same amount of money that a funding program would pay you. But what's the good news? Here's the best part of the program at the bottom here. The dealer is not held liable for the payoff of the consumer loan. Should someone default, they would not held liable for that. So what's exciting about this program is you're going to be allowed to offer this to your customers. They can feel good that they own the system. After the payment of the Synchrony deal is over, they now only have to pay the monitoring. And the best part is, ladies and gentlemen, you get to keep the monitoring. You're not selling off your future. As a ratio difference, an average monitoring account with a funding program where they purchase the account that pays you between $1,500 and $1,800, over the life of that account, if you kept it, would pay you about $3,600 with this program. You'll get the money for the equipment, you'll get the monitoring for the next 60 months, and then down the road, you could even sell that account to a company who purchases accounts. So in the long run, you're looking at about $3,600, more than twice as much you would have been paid on a funding program. So we here at Dynamark have developed this partnership with Synchrony. You can only get it through Dynamark. And what's the catch? The only catch, ladies and gentlemen, is that Dynamark makes their money on monitoring your accounts. So 3 things. 1, you would use Dynamark for your monitoring on those accounts. Someone asked me the other day, do I have to move the accounts at my other central station over to you? The answer is no. We would love to earn your business, and perhaps we will, but we do not ask of that. We simply say that if you're going to use Synchrony, that monitoring needs to stay here. And the reason is, Synchrony years ago tried this program and it failed because they found out dealers were rolling the monitoring into the bill. Then they got paid a huge check, but there were many dealers who failed to pay the central station. So when the central station didn't get paid, they told the end user they were going to have to turn off their monitoring. Well, the end user believes they paid all for their monitoring through Synchrony Bank. And so when they called Synchrony, Synchrony really had nowhere to turn. The partnership that we have allows us to ensure that you're paying us for the monitoring, as well as the third-party platform fees. So whether you're using SecureNet or Total Connect or any of the other services that are out there, there's all of them, you would pay us for the monitoring, pay us for the third-party pass-through fees. That way, Synchrony ensures they get paid and they're separate. The beauty is you can install a system and within 24 to 48 hours, that money is in your account and you have no chargeback recourse. So if you guys think that's exciting and that would help your business grow, I would encourage you to reach out to one of our regional VPs in your area. Mike Hutcher is in the northern region. Rich Cowan is in the western region, and I'm handling the south region as well. And in the southern region, that is something that we can share more details about the Synchrony program and how it could help your business grow. If you want more information on that, you can go to our website, go to contact us. You can click anybody who wants to know more about any sales products, and you can either leave an email there or you can simply call us and we can give you, get you in touch with the right regional. Okay, as far as that's concerned, I'm excited to have our special guest. And Mike, I'm sorry, David, if you can pull that little banner that you had up at the beginning. I wanted to just say that this company, we approached this company a few years ago, and they were really starting out quite early. And over the years, we've grown together with them. I got to tell you, this is one of the coolest products I've ever seen. I never knew a radio could be the size of a quarter. And so Dimitar is going to, Petrov is going to go in a little bit more detail. I bet you he's sitting somewhere in Bulgaria. What do you think? Dimitar, is that true?
Yes, Hank, that's true. That's true. I'm here.
He is here. And so maybe we can see his face. Anybody out there? See if we can see your smiling face out there. I don't know if you have a camera. We're all sort of hunkered down in the coronavirus. And so we're glad to have you. These gentlemen have done a phenomenal job developing a really cool product. And he's going to explain to you how it's best used. So at the end, we're going to give you guys a chance to ask questions to Dimitar or myself. But in the meantime, Dimitar, take it away.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Hank. Thank you for the kind words. Let me just share my screen real quick. So, do you see it?
Yep, we see it perfectly.
Yeah. So, thank you for having us on this webinar, Hank, and thank you all for joining us today. As Hank mentioned, we've been partnering with Dynaweb for the past few years, and I think that this is working really good for both our companies. So today I'm going to cover a few topics. First of all, I'll give you a brief overview of our company for those of you who don't know M2M services. We'll cover the cellular technology changes and the new technologies that are available out there to secure the future of your accounts. I'll cover the portfolio of our devices, the M2M communicators, different versions, features, installation, etc. And in the end, I'll show you the different interfaces that we have for managing our devices and our service. So let's start with a few words for our company. M2M Services has been on the market for the past 15 years. Right from the start, we focused on machine-to-machine and IoT solutions and applications. We passed through a few different industries before we decided to focus on the security industry and specifically on providing robust and easy to install devices for the security industry, communicators for the security industry. Currently, our company is present in more than 30 countries around the world. Our main markets are Europe and, of course, North America. We partner with all the major telecoms to provide communication service with our devices. In the US, we work with Verizon, AT&T, and T-Mobile. And our devices support all the major alarm panel brands that are out there, so like DSC, NAPCO, Interlogix, Honeywell, DMP, and many others. Currently, we have already over 300,000 active devices worldwide, and this number is growing pretty fast each month. So this is for our company. I want to focus now more on the upcoming 3G CDMA sunset. You all know that we have less than 2 years now to act on this. Verizon CDMA will be shut down, or at least they say they will no longer support it after December 2022. and AT&T will stop supporting their HSPA and HSPA Plus or 3G, 4G networks after February 2022. So for AT&T, it's less than 2 years from now, and it's a bit more than 2 years for Verizon. So we think that dealers and alarm companies out there need to act now. We already see that in many different locations throughout USA, the 3G networks are being shut down. I mean, this shutdown will not be like an overnight process. It's something that's already happening. So we see 3G sales going down here and there, and we know that we need to act now so that we have enough time to replace all the aging equipment out there. The good thing is that now we have a solution, we have a new technology on the market that is future-proof and that will guarantee a long-term support of our services. This technology is the newly deployed LTE category M1 network. It is currently deployed in the US by Verizon and AT&T, and they already have nearly national coverage with these networks. Why is LTE-M the solution for us? First of all, as I mentioned, this is really a future-proof technology. The LTE-M is expected to last more than 10, even 15 years. The reason for that is that the LTE-M networks will be part also of the upcoming 5G deployment. So this guarantees that even if the standard LTE networks that we currently use with our smartphones are sunset in, let's say, 7-8 years, LTE-M will still remain as part of the 5G networks. This is really important. I mean, you remember that we switched from 2G to 3G less than 4 years ago. And now in 2 years, we need to make yet another change. So I think that it's important to invest now in a solution that's really future-proof and that will be here for at least 10 years. The other important thing about LTE-M is that it will have extended coverage in rural areas. The LTE-M networks in their essence are a lot easier to deploy by the carriers. AT&T and Verizon, as I mentioned, they already have nearly national coverage, and the reason is that LTE-M networks require a lot less cell towers to cover wider territory. This means that the coverage of these networks will be really good and will improve fast over the next few months and years. So it is really a solution that will cover the entire country, and you would see a lot less signal issues using this technology. Last but not least, LTE-M has a lot better indoors coverage, meaning that you can install the device anywhere in the house, even in the basement, and you still get a good signal level. This is really important, and this really saves time during installation and hassle during installation to find good signal level. So we see that these three benefits are really something that you should consider, and LTE-M is really the technology that you should go for replacing your existing 3G, 4G accounts that are still out there. The device in our portfolio that currently supports these networks is our MNO2 LTE-M device. As Hank already mentioned, the device is really small. Some of you may already use it, and you know. It is probably the smallest alarm communicator in the world currently. we have not few, but couple of versions from this device. First, like the main version supports AT&T only, so it will work on AT&T LTE-M networks. Few months ago, we released a new version that supports not only AT&T, but also Verizon, meaning that you have AT&T and Verizon on one device. The radios will switch automatically between the networks in case of signal issues, which ensures that you have really the best possible national coverage with these devices. So if the signal level drops or if there is an issue with the cell tower, the device will automatically switch to the backup SIM card and will try to establish connection, which is a really nice feature. And I think that it's a unique feature currently on the US market. There is no other device that supports both AT&T and Verizon in one radio. All the devices are universal. They connect via the ring and tip of any alarm panel that supports contact ID, SIA, and Pulse 4+2 formats. Pulse 4+2 is used on really old and aging panels out there. So you can upgrade a very old and aging equipment in the field and give it a new life with our device. All the MNO2 radios support remote upload panel programming. It is available for Honeywell DSC and Interlogix NX panels. I'll cover this in the next few slides. We also have interactive features, interactive app for the end users and for the installers. So this small radio is really feature packed. So it's a really nice solution, and we see it as the perfect solution for upgrading your aging 3G, 4G devices, and also for replacing the POTS lines that are still used for alarm communication. The other devices that we currently offer on the US market are our MQ03 device series. We have few versions from these radios. We have residential burglary and fire device, the white box you see on the top right corner. And we have UL listed commercial fire radio for your commercial fire installations. These devices use, again, are dual carrier. They use AT&T and T-Mobile LTE networks, and they also have 3G, 4G fallback. So in the next 2 years, these devices will be able to use the 3G, 4G networks as well if they're still available. Again, the devices are universal. They connect to any panel via the ring and tip, and support contact ID, SIA, and Pulse 4+2. They support remote panel programming for Honeywell DSC and Interlogix panels, and they also work with our interactive mobile applications. All the devices in our portfolio are UL or ETL listed for residential or commercial installations. So the the MNO2 LTE-M devices and the MQ03 LTE devices are listed for residential burglary and fire. And the red box, the MQ03 LTE fire device, is UL864 for commercial fire installations. Here is an overview of all the products that we have in the portfolio for the US market. As I mentioned, 2 versions of the MNO2 LTE-M device, 2 versions of the residential MQ03 LTE device. The difference between the two is that the first one, the MQ03 LTE, is only cellular communication, so it supports AT&T and T-Mobile. The second version, MQ03 LTE LAN, is a dual path device, so you can use it for let's say, higher risk accounts and connected via the LAN port. If you connect the LAN, the device will use it as a primary communication channel. We have 30 seconds polling on the LAN communication, so this is a really nice device for high risk accounts. If the LAN communication is lost, if internet stops for any reason, the device will automatically switch to the backup cellular communication and will still transmit the signals to the central station and to our mobile application for the end user. The Fire device is dual path as well. It's certified for sole path communication, so you can use it only with the cellular connection. Anyway, if you want to have a higher redundancy, you can still connect the you can again connect the LAN, and the device will again switch between the two communication channels depending on if they work or not. Few words for the installation. We always try to keep things as simple as possible for the installers. So all the devices are delivered pre-activated. So the cellular service will be active on all devices that you buy. You don't need to go on our portal to activate the service. You can go ahead and install the device right away. The MNO2 devices, the small radios, they also come pre-wired, so they have the wires needed to install the device built in. So you don't need to do any wiring on the radio itself. All the devices are configured to get the signals via the ring and tip, and will also automatically detect if the panel is using or if the panel is dialing in contact ID or SIA. So depending on the configuration, the device will switch to contact ID or SIA once the panel sends the first signals. When you buy the devices through FAST, they will also come pre-configured to report to Dynamark, meaning that you also don't need to assign the devices to Dynamark for monitoring from our web portal. So the devices come really ready to go, and there is no configuration on the radios whatsoever. The dimensions are also important. As I mentioned, the radios are really small, so they can directly fit in any panel box. So you don't need a separate box to install the devices. And due to the low power consumption, you can also directly power the devices from the alarm panel. So no separate power supply is needed to install our devices. Panel programming is standard. I mean, every installer knows how to program the needed settings on the panel so they can work with our devices. They need to enable the PSTN dialer. They need to select tone dialing, select the preferred communication format, enter a phone number so the panel will dial out, and of course configure the account number. So these are a few settings that usually take not more than 5-10 minutes to configure. So our device can be installed on a new panel. They can be installed in less than 10 minutes. If it's an existing panel that's already programmed to report via the ring and tip, it should take less than 5 minutes to set up the radio. So you only need to wire the device, and it will be ready to go. As I mentioned, all our devices support remote panel programming or remote upload download to Honeywell Vista panels, DSC panels, and Interlogic's NX series. The small MNO2 devices need additional hardware module to make the connection with the panel for the upload and download. We call this module the ringer. As for the MQO3 devices, this module is built in, so With the bigger devices, you don't need an additional hardware. They're ready to go for upload and download. On the side of the computer with the upload and download software, we have two versions, two options to facilitate the connection with the devices. We provide small and easy to install hardware modems. It's a small USB dongle, which is also a cellular device, so you can use it anywhere, even if you don't have internet on your computer. And we recently released a software version of the upload and download modem, so you can also use this software to make your upload downloads. We do the upload and download via the ring and tip of the panel. So it's the old-fashioned way. We connect via the dialer of the panel, like you would connect if you're using a phone line. This means that you still be using the upload download software you're familiar with, like the DLS for the DSC panels, the Compass for Honeywell Vista panels, and DL900 for Interlogix NX panels. We have few interfaces that help you to manage your accounts and enable the end user to monitor and control their systems. We have a web-based platform for device management. As I mentioned, the devices are pre-configured, but anyway, we offer this portal for some advanced settings. There are also a few really nice features there, like the option to override the account numbers that are configured on the panels. So if you are taking over an existing account and you don't have the installer's code, you can install our device, log into the web-based portal, and set whatever account number you need to have on this account. Then the device will ignore the account number that is dialed from the panel and will start reporting with the new one that you configured in our system. So this is a really nice feature for takeovers. On the web-based portal, you can also check the cellular signal strength during installation. You can add end user accounts for the mobile application for your customers. And a few other features like configuring inputs and outputs and etc. So it's a really nice tool to manage your accounts. But anyway, probably you will not need to use it in most of the installations, as the devices come pre-configured and ready to go. As for the mobile applications, we have two versions, or two different apps. The first one is our R-Control app for end users, and the second one is the R-Control admin, which is used by installers in the field. The end user mobile application is available for iOS and Android devices. So with the app, the end users can remotely arm and disarm any system that supports key switch arming and disarming. So if you can configure a key switch zone on the panel to arm and disarm the system, our app will provide this functionality for the end user. We are about to release a new firmware update for the devices, or a new version of the devices that will also support a key bus connection to DSC and Honeywell Vista panels. We already have beta testing versions, so any of you that already use our devices can test it if you want. So with the key bus connection, the app gets a lot more functionality for the end user. So if you're using a key switch, you can basically you can arm and disarm the system, or you can only full arm or stay arm, and you can control only one partition on the panel. If you connect our device via the key bus of DSC or Honeywell Vista panel, then you get all the configurations that are available via the keypad, meaning that you can control multiple partitions on the panel, remotely arm and disarm multiple partitions. You can full arm, you can stay arm, you can check the status of the zones, and you can also bypass the zones. So this is a really nice feature, and it will be available for all new devices probably from next month on. From the app, the app is also customizable, meaning that you can upload your company logo and your company contact details. So every time the end user uses the app, they'll see your logo and they can easily contact you if needed for any support. The app is keeping history of the signals 12 months back in time, and it also offers options for real-time user notification. So the end users can configure push and email notifications so that they are informed in real time for any alarm signals or openings, closings, basically for all the signals that are sent from their systems. The second app is our control admin mobile application. It is again available for iOS and Android devices. This app is purely for installers, so it more or less replicates the functions that are available on our web portal. So during installation, the installer can check the signal level, the voltage level, the status of the inputs and outputs of the device. They can override the account number that is set on the panel from the mobile app. They can configure end-user accounts, and basically all the features and all the configurations that are available for our radios are available available in the app. Few words for our new and actually not that new portals. So we have an M2M support website, which is quite useful for the installers in the field. So we upload many different panel configuration manuals and guidelines, which will help the installer during panel setup. You can find also all the installation manuals of the different devices there, and of course panel compatibility charts which show the available features for each panel brand and model. And we recently launched a new website, M2Mdealers.com. This web portal is used to assign devices under your preferred monitoring station. So if you are buying devices from any of our other distributors like Anixter, for example, you can use the M2Mdealers.com portal to assign the devices under Dynamark for monitoring. You just need to register. It takes a few minutes. We review and approve your registration. Then you're ready to go, and you can manage your accounts from this new portal. So that's from me, and I'll be happy to answer any questions that you may have for our devices.
What questions do you guys have for this fine gentleman, Dimitar? What questions specific to the unit? I do have the first question. In regards to this unit, when is it mostly used in the last few years when it has been used? Is it typically used to take over a panel that was connected in the past to a landline device? And if that's changed, can you describe how it's changing?
Yeah, Hank. You can use the devices for existing, for legacy panels that are out there in the field, but you can also use it for new installations. So as I mentioned, the devices are universal, so they can connect to any panel that supports contact ID, SIA, and Pulse 4+2 formats. So you can use it on a wide range of panels. So we've seen our devices installed on panels that are more than 30 years old. And we have many customers that use them on all their new installations. So I don't think that there is any like specific use case. You can use them on all installations.
I know Mike Hutcher is with us, and he's our VP in the North. And I don't know, Mike, if you're available to speak, but one of the things that I think we recognized is that the price that most of our dealers are paying for both our monitoring and your platform services combined are some of the lowest in the industry. I know that some of the concerns dealers have is the third-party platform fee alone can sometimes approach $8, $10, $12 just for that service, not including our monitoring. And then, you know, with yours and ours combined, it's certainly a lot less expensive than that. So that has been a big positive. I think people think that everybody out there who offers third-party, you know, smart technology platform services are all in the double digits, but that's not true.
Yeah, for sure, that's not true. I think that our pricing is really competitive. Probably it's the best on the market. So the total cost of ownership of our devices is, I mean, there is no match on the market currently.
Right.
So both the hardware and the recurring for the cellular are really, really competitive.
And I think with our case, just to give someone an actual dollar example, like I said, Mike, you might know more than I do, Mike Hutcher, but I think we are at about $5.50 per account for the most basic of your M2M devices. But for $5.50, that price includes our monitoring and your third-party platform. So for those of you who are on a really strategic budget that you're trying to optimize competitive pricing, and you want to use this for either landlines or even new systems, this is probably one of the best ones you'll have out there. In fact, we have a dealer in he's below Daytona Beach, Security Centers of America. He's got hundreds and hundreds of accounts with us, and he lives by your device. He thinks it's the best device in the world out there.
Yeah, Hank, it's Mike.
Yes, maybe Mike can give some more, you know.
Yeah, for the AT&T service, it's $5.50 a month. The Verizon is $6.50 a month.
Got it. And so Mike, what's your experience? And just give us your anecdotal experience on maybe like, you know, like our buddy out in New Smyrna Beach and some of your other dealers that have used it. What's your thought?
Well, the dealers love it. Number one, it's so quick and easy to install. The price is right. It's only like $83 for the device, and again, $5.50 or $6.50 a month for the monitoring total. So you can get anything you need, basic interactivity, and most of the time, the feedback is that's all the customer ends up using. All the other whistles and bells kind of go by the wayside. So this really handles a good portion of whatever you're going to need out there, but it's great for takeovers. It's obviously going to be great for the upgrade that are going to need it to be made and rapidly approaching. So that's when I found this device, when we went from 2G to 3G, and we've never looked back. We've had great success. I do have one question, Dimitar. Is there any update on the service side availability since the Boca office opened?
What do you mean by service side availability?
If technical service, if the dealer has a question.
I mean, the dealers, Yeah, they can contact our support. We have a phone support 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. Eastern, and they can always email the support email you see here on the bottom of the page. So we are always available. If they have any questions, we can answer.
Excellent.
That's great. Does anyone now, open it up for everyone else, you guys feel free to unmute yourself and ask questions. Anyone out there?
Hey, Hank, this is David. I actually have a list of questions that were emailed in.
Oh, nice. Okay.
So, Dimitar, if you don't mind that we go through these.
Yeah, sure.
Right. So I know you answered this, but does the product work on the Verizon Cell network?
Yes, as I mentioned, it works.
Yep.
It's actually AT&T plus Verizon, so we have a version that will work on both networks on one device.
Okay. And what statistics do you have that may affect its performance?
So, I mean, statistics, we keep a general statistics on the devices. As I mentioned, specifically for the 3G, 4G connections out there, we closely monitor our devices and, I mean, the existing 3G, 4G devices. And we already see some devices dropping out here and there. So it's really important to act on these upgrades now and fast. As for the current version of the radios, I mean, all our devices, it's not that related to the statistics, but I think it's good to mention. All our devices have a 10-minute polling as a standard, meaning that if a device disconnects from the cellular network, the central station will be notified fairly fast for this, and the dealers will know that there is some issue with the connectivity. On the other hand, going back to the LTE-M networks, we already see that these networks perform a lot better than the existing 3G, 4G cellular networks, and even than the LTE that's been here for probably 5, 6 or more years now. So we see these LTE-M networks as the solution for the future of our business, and it's really a future-proof technology that all dealers should consider when they do their upgrades.
Perfect. And the next question, I'm just going to take over the screen momentarily because they asked if there's a list of zip codes, and to my understanding, you just use the full AT&T and Verizon network. Is that correct?
Yeah, I mean, the device, the AT&T and Verizon radios, they can connect to both networks. So if AT&T is not available, the radio will switch over to Verizon. So I don't think that there is another device that offers a better nationwide coverage than this one.
Right, exactly. And so as this question was asked, it specifically mentioned the Arizona area and its relation to the Verizon network. So just pulling up the coverage map, we may not necessarily have a list of zip codes, but you can see here that M2M between the dual channel networks, they're able to cover a lot of stuff, a lot of area.
Yeah.
Perfect. And then the next question is, can MYM be installed onto them? They have wireless systems, DSC Alexor, DSC Impasa, DSC Touch, and DSC Neo, and DSC 1832 panels on their hardware wired systems.
So yeah, as I mentioned, the device is universal. So I can share. Can I share my screen again? I can go
Of
to
course.
our. Just a sec. I can go to our support site real quick. So this is our tech support site that I mentioned, and you can find here panel compatibility chart. Actually, this panel compatibility is not it is not listing all the panels that can work with our device. We have here the panels that we've tested extensively ourselves, and so we know for sure that they work with these protocols and with these features. Anyway, the device will work on virtually any panel that has a dialer, that has a ring and tip, and supports any of the three supported protocols: Pulse 4+2, Contact ID, or SIA. You can see here that we've tested most of the DSC series, so I'm pretty sure that our device will work on anything out there.
Perfect. What transmission formats does M2M use? DTMF or FSK or something else?
So DTMF. So the DTMF is actually the DAO capture. So the device, as I mentioned, it will work on Contact ID, SIA, and Pulse 4+2. And so when you configure the panel, it should be set to tone dialing. So not sure if this covers the question, but I'm not sure if I understand fully the question.
No, that's fine.
That's okay. None of us understand it anyway. So.
Is the product supported by alarm.com?
No, we have our own app, and actually we are now working on few new things. Hopefully we'll have some news for this by the end of the year, but we are making integration with few smart home applications that are frequently used, and we'll be offering many additional smart home features with our devices. So it's still in early stage, but hopefully by the end of the year, we will be able to provide these additional services to our customers. So alarm.com does not support our devices. We are developing our own applications, and we are doing our own integrations.
Is that it, David?
Perfect. I want to purchase a large quantity, about 150 of cellular radios to transition my accounts and send to Dynaweb. Is there any shortage of supply?
No,
Okay.
there is no shortage of supply. We can supply as many radios as you need, and you can contact Dynamart sales and work on this with them, I guess. Hank, what you want to say?
Yeah, no, that's right. I think we've got a solid supply. We have a sister partnership with First Action Security Team. It's a distributor. It covers primarily the major 5-6 states that Mike oversees. And I think, Mike, you have a handful of dealers who purchase the radios through FAST. Is that correct?
Oh, we have a lot of dealers who purchase the radios through FAST, yes.
And so we may be able to ship further than that. I think we've shipped as far now as, or I say FAST has, the sister partnership that we have with FAST. They've shipped as far as Texas in a couple of days, but
we ship nationwide. That's not an issue.
Yeah, it's just you can't expect overnight. It's going to take a couple of days, but
yeah,
in terms of getting the radios, we can get the radios to you. That's not a problem. That pricing that Mike mentioned earlier, you're going to get that excellent pricing through the partnership we've got. But the bottom line is that we definitely can get you the supply if needed. We were hoping, he said 100,000, then it might have been a problem. But 100 radios, no problem. Any more questions that you have written down, David?
There's two more.
Okay, go ahead.
What is your return policy to return a defective radio?
We have 2-year warranty on all radios, and basically we directly replace any faulty equipment. So if there is some device that needs to be replaced, we'll do it right away.
Perfect. And the last question, I know you just touched on, but it was days and hours of tech support, and I believe you said that was 6 to 6 Eastern Standard Time.
Yeah, Here is the contact information.
Perfect. Right, and then you always have email available for
Yeah.
support. All right, those are all the questions that were emailed in. If anyone else has any questions.
Does anybody have any other questions that you'd like to ask? Going once, as they say, going twice. Well, listen, I thank everyone for attending our national webinar to welcome one of our premier providers. If you want to know a list of premier providers, you can go to dynamarkmonitoring.com. You can hover over resources and you'll see the name premier providers. You can click there. You can see more about M2M at that location, and that will also give you a place where you can contact your local regional for Dynamark if you'd like to carry this product or like to hear more about Dynamark services. Dimitar, we thank you for joining us. We appreciate it, my friend.
Yeah, thank you for having me, and you all have a good day, guys.
Thank you. You guys, appreciate you joining. Stay tuned. We'll have this out there recorded, so you'll be able to watch it on our site and on our YouTube channel. And we look forward to having you guys next month. We'll see you soon. Take care.